Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation and our Paws On Manga segment.
And today we're covering the manga Insomniacs After School.
Now this slow burn slice of life manga shows the lives of two teens who suffer from severe insomnia every night. But they can only fall asleep when they're together.
I sound like the movie.
Yes, and it goes from mutual benefit as they start up the astronomy club back again. But it might be developing into something more. Of course it is.
Look
It's
at this.
manga.
Right, look at this. And it said, before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, click occasionally some future podcasts and little pause video.
Yes, and thank you for joining us, subscribing, and sharing our videos. We appreciate you helping us out a lot. You're our specials, of course.
Yes.
So this is in the genre of drama, romance, and slice of life. Written by Makoto Ojiro. And of course, when I hear that, I think of MHA.
He's so normal.
And it's also illustrated by Ojiro as well. Now, the manga originally ran from May 20th of 2019 to August of 2023. It has 14 volumes. And there's an anime series as well that has 13 episodes, which originally ran from April of 2023 to July of 2023, which we're in the process of watching. So stay tuned for a review of the anime as well.
Right. And it's funny because Mama actually wants to get into finding this manga at our library. Because every now and then they'll get something new worth picking up. So she got the first volume. Well, actually first 2 volumes. And
No, you're right, the first volume.
Okay.
And then when I went back the next time, I got
all 5 volumes. So we read the first 5 volumes of the manga. First it was a little slow to start because it seemed like it was a lot to build up. Once we got started, we were enjoying it. It only took one other volume to make it entertaining. It doesn't take like all 14 volumes to get interesting.
True. One fun fact, this actually had a live action film
already?
in June of 2023.
Already?
So they weren't playing. As soon as that manga ended, they jumped on an anime series as well as a live action film. And when I saw the characters, of course, they're not teens.
Of course.
So in the small city of Nanao, Insomnia Ganta Nakami tries to catch an in his school's abandoned astronomical observatory. And there he stumbles upon a sociable and carefree girl named Saki Magari who has the same problem. And of course they're going to end up falling for each other. We've read the 5 volumes and I think she fell for him first. And now he's fallen for her as well.
Right.
It's a nice read. It's wholesome. It's really sweet. And you actually learn a lot about astronomy as well as photography because Nakami is learning how to do that as well.
Right. And a lot of stuff that they're doing for the club is done at night because, like we said, they both have insomnia. And they both are really, really tired in the day. When they should be awake, they're falling asleep in class or can't focus. Well, he somehow can still focus, go figure. So he still makes sure he still gets the work done even though he can't sleep. But when it becomes nighttime, they're supposed to sleep. They're wide awake and can't fall asleep. And that's how the whole situation starts. And he was trying to find a place quiet where he could sleep because they think he's either lazy or he thinks he can get away with it and he can get all the work done, but it's like, okay, now you're just showing off you can get it done. It's like either way he loses.
So when it first starts off and he stumbles upon her, it looks like he's like a creep because she's asleep
right.
And he's over.
It's like, but he didn't know.
And she wakes up and she runs off. And then she comes back and she falls asleep on his shoulder. Well, you know, come on.
It's like, well, there was no
for a romance.
Right.
And they're both kind of goofy. They're both nerds. And it looks like in the first volume that it's about to be ruined because some student finds them, tells the teacher says you shouldn't be in here, I have to report this, we're not bothering anyone, we even cleaned up, and she reports it, and after the first volume we thought, okay, she's going to ruin it, but it ends up not happening. We find out in volume 2.
Right.
And then as we go through each volume, we're learning more about each character, they're getting to know each other. You've seen a lot of the photography that Nakami's doing. And again, learning about it as well. The night sky, doing stargazing, and so many other things.
Right.
And then they meet another girl who's an older student. She's graduated. And At first, she's kind of she's rude.
Yeah,
and
like those types
arrogant,
of characters they have. Yeah.
Shiramaru. And Shiramaru is an alumni of the Astronomy Club, and she runs an arcade. She's graduated. But suddenly she has this crush on Nakami. Of course she does, since he's wanted by someone already.
Look at him. Like, they keep doing that.
And at first when you see her, she looks like a boy, and she behaves like a tomboy.
Yeah.
And they thought she was a boy as well. And then you find out she's a girl, and the more you see her around him, the more you realize she's crushing on him.
Right.
And she's angry because Marguerite likes him.
It's that, oh gosh.
And she starts kind of changing her behavior and how she treats him. Because she's the one who's teaching him about the photography, but she's getting angrier and angrier, seeing that they like each other.
Right. And I will say two things. One, they had her introduced because I guess this is a real rule. They need at least 3 people in a club for it to stay open. They have a cat, but they don't consider that to count because he's not human.
Right.
So that's why they end up having her. It's like, okay, just have her be in and we'll just say she's a student and not qualified. And then the other thing would be is that this isn't a rom-com story. It's a lot more laid back, like you said, there's drama. It's a romance, but not a comedy. And it's not heavy in terms of making, usually the jokes you see in the rom-coms where they have the fan service and the fighting with the girls and everything and the misunderstandings and stuff. Everything is pretty played straight the whole time right now in this manga. You have, you know, the different girls liking him, but there's no fighting and stuff and backstabbing or anything like that. There is no competing. There is no talking mess about the other one for liking somebody. None of that is in here. It's just, okay, well, she likes him and she likes him too, and then you see how the reaction is, but they don't bother with it.
But what isn't is Marguerite has an older sister who's 4 years older, and she tortures her. And I don't mean physically. She emotionally tortures her. She makes fun of her. She embarrasses her.
Right.
And then how we're introduced to her is that she talks to Nakami
and
says
here we go.
Can't stand her and she wished she was never born. And I'm
like,
oh, here we go with the anime.
Oh boy, it's like, you're on this already.
And so she ends up teasing him and talking to him and telling him more things that he needs to know or wants to know about her sister.
And it's so funny because then he's like, but I didn't ask this.
So eventually at a point, after she realizes she can't mess up him liking her because he won't go away, he won't stop, he won't leave, then she leaves and says she's going to visit a boy and leaves him alone. No, that does not happen. And they try to stay away from each other.
Right, so nothing by accident happens.
They're separate rooms. They're separated by a doorway. They put a barrier between them. They sleep separately so that nothing happens, and it's actually kind of funny because
right,
so
they're like,
wholesome.
they're like, no, it's okay. You sleep here. Let me know if you gotta go, and that's it. And they were like, okay.
So why should you read this manga? Because it's calming, slice of life, and even though it doesn't have the excitement things that you may be looking for in a manga, if you're looking for something again to kind of take a break,
slow down,
cleanse your manga palette, slow down, then this is a great book to read. And again, we are watching the anime, and right now it is almost 1-to-1 for the manga.
Right.
As far as we've watched. So if you've read Insomniacs After School, let us know in the comments.
Right. And last thing to point out is the irony of this show and the manga is that 2 main characters can't sleep no matter what at night. And it's the title Insomniacs After School. It's the whole theme, and you found out how they have it. But I think it's funny is that it's so calm, you could fall asleep to it.
Yes.
As like someone did that on purpose and thought about how to make this series, both as a manga and an anime. You're kind of lulled to sleep on how calm it is. They can't sleep, but you can. It's like you're adding salt to the wound and you're not even in the show. Like, I can sleep though, and you can't.
Now, if you like to be calm and like to read this manga, let us know in the comments. You can probably find it at your local library. I'm sure it's for sale on Amazon. Give it a read. Come back and tell us what you think.
Right. And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates and weekly reviews for anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Yes. And when you're awake, we want to tell you thank you so much.
Yes.
For subscribing and for following us You are our
Special.
specials, and we love sharing little finds like this with you.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you so much for watching Rascal Entertainment.
and Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.